What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Cass here, and we are here with the top 10 NFL wide receiver prospects according to yours truly. If you guys want to see more content like this, remember to hit the like button and subscribe, and we're going to go right into this list. Introducing first are who we think is the number one wide receiver on the board, who I personally think is the number one wide receiver on the board, is JaMarr Chase. JaMarr Chase excels at contested catching. He's probably the guy that does that best in this class. It may be his other teammate, but we will get to that in a moment. He excels in blocking, which, if anybody knows the Tennessee Titans, he very much reminds me of Corey Davis, the way Davis blocks for, or did block for Derrick Henry. But he also, some negatives for JaMarr Chase is limited targets at LSU because of the stacked offense that they had. So he didn't get to see a majority of the targets, which may come back to haunt him in the long run in his development. He also has a limited route tree, but the way that NFL coaches teach the receivers now, I feel like he'll be able to grow as a receiver learning the route tree. But overall, I think JaMarr Chase is the number one receiver in the class. Number two, this is where you guys are probably going to disagree with me. I have Jaylen Waddle. I think Jaylen Waddle also offers a big player, a guy that anytime he catches the ball, you're at the risk of it going for 6. I've seen it personally. I've seen games where he's scored 6-7 touchdowns. So it's incredible. He's great in the slot, but he has a few negativities. He has limited contested catches, which for a lot of these faster guys, that's very much an issue for me. Because it's not big enough in the NFL just for you to be fast. You need to be able to contest catch. You need to have strong hands to hold on to the football. He has limited sample size with a stacked wide receiver core in Alabama. And with his limited play time as a starter, it's very much an issue. But to me, his least important negativity is his ankle injury concerns. Because he did look kind of beat up in the national championship game. I'll admit that. But I feel like Jaylen Waddle is going to be able to pull through. I feel like he's the number 2 receiver in the class. And I feel like he is going to be a very explosive player on the next level. Next, we have the Heisman Trophy winner, Devonta Smith from Alabama. He's a very physical player in contested catches. He'll go up and snag one, and that's very surprising for a guy that's only 170 pounds. Very much that I feel like if Jaylen Waddle was able to do physically in contested catches what Devonta Smith can do, Jaylen Waddle would be the most complete wide receiver prospect I've ever seen. He has limited injury concerns. Through his high school and collegiate career, Devonta Smith really didn't have major injuries. But his negativity, and you'll see this a lot, is his size. And more than half of his yards this season were from screens. I know that says years, it's a typo. But half of his yards this season come from screens. So that's got to be something you look into more as you evaluate Devonta Smith as a prospect. Next, we have Rashod Bateman. Personally, a guy that I think has the best size in the class, who's a very strong receiver. He had a very good pro day. He also had an incredible stat line of 36 broken tackles out of 112 receptions. But where he can really struggle is his drops, really. He had a 14.3 drop rate, but most of those came in the red zone. And you've also got to compare it. He really was Minnesota's only option. So you got to think about it like that. He also faced limited competition at Minnesota as far as defensive threats. So we're going to have to see how that's going to handle itself out and how, if he can really be a mainstream receiver on the next level. He's a first-round draft pick for me. I would prefer him to go at 22 to Tennessee than any of the guys past this. So, personally, I hope we see Rashod Bateman and A.J. Brown both in the two-tone blue next year. Terrence Marshall, this guy is the best go up and grab the ball player in this entire draft at wide receiver. Because Kyle Pitts does that very well. It's very good as well. But I think as far as receivers concerned, Terrence Marshall is the best player that can go up and get the football. As you see, I named Rashod Bateman the best size in the class, even though Terrence Marshall has 2 inches on him. Because personally, at receiver, when we're talking about size, I value weight more than height. And it's very similar with Devonta Smith. The 170 pounds really scares me because that's 40 pounds lighter than Rashod Bateman. But anyway, Terrence Marshall, he has a huge catch radius. He doesn't run very crisp routes, and that's where he can really hope to improve within the NFL. He had 8 drops in 8 games, which a drop a game really isn't that bad, but we've also seen in previous college to NFL prospects that their drops have increased within the NFL level. So let's hope that's not going to be the case for Terrence Marshall. And he's a great mental player. He's great within the locker room. He's a great mental player. And he's also a great tactical player on the field of getting in the mind of the opponent. My 6th overall prospect is Kadarius Toney out of the University of Florida. He has big playability. He can score at any moment, very similar to Jaylen Waddle. But the difference with Jaylen Waddle and what I really think sets Kadarius Toney aside for the guys that are in his weight class is I really think he's a very good route runner. Very different from the other guys within his weight. But his negativities was being on the same team as Kyle Pitts because it very much opened up lanes for Kadarius Toney. Because Pitts was getting double covered and triple covered multiple times a game, which really, if you go back and see the highlights, opened up a lot of lanes for Kadarius. But his also negativities are, like I had said with, I believe, Devonta Smith, it was Jaylen Waddle. He has limited contested catches. And a guy at that size, you need to be able to see if they can catch the ball in traffic. But another thing when going back and watching Kadarius' highlight tape, is he doesn't have a lot of deep receptions either. Most of his catches were either overthrown by Trask, which you can not blame 100% on Kadarius, or also some of them were dropped or batted down by defenses, and that's where that size is really going to come into play. See if I missed one. Rondell Moore. Okay, I thought I missed one. See, with Rondell Moore, his versatility is what's going to get him drafted. He can play receiver, running back, kick returner, and punt returner. He can play at every single position on special teams besides kicker and punter, and every single position on the offense except offensive lineman and quarterback. Rondell Moore would be a mismatch in any position he's in. He has true breakaway speed, but there is one negativity I have for Rondell Moore, and this is going to be a massive negativity. That's why I only put one for Rondell. Is 72% of his catches came less than 5 yards from the line of scrimmage, which means that he was very scheme-orientated at Purdue, and let's hope that can change going into the next level. Hey, I have Josh Palmer. I'm very high on Josh Palmer. I think Josh Palmer has the best hands as far as a go-up-and-get-it receiver in the entire class. I don't think he's the best at going up and getting the football. I think he has the best hands to be able to do so. He had a great show at the Senior Bowl in the 1v1 rate. But his negativities show lack of production because of the quarterback play at Tennessee and lack of decision-making because he wanted to go to Tennessee. If Josh Palmer goes to any other Division I school that isn't in the SEC, besides Alabama, Clemson, or Auburn, if Jordan Palmer was at Auburn, he'd be up here with Rashod Bateman and Terrence Marshall. Josh Palmer is a very good receiver. But let's go to 9. 9, I personally have Elijah Moore. I think you have to have him within the top 10 of your class because of simply those drops to targets and receptions. He had 200 career receptions at Ole Miss with 10 career drops. That is incredible. He's also a great in the slot and outside receiver, but his negativities are limited production against press and limited production period. At Ole Miss, like I was saying before, he faced a lot of problem being on the field with DK Metcalf and AJ Brown. Also, his entire collegiate career had 6 passes, went up against press 6 times in his entire collegiate career. And I feel like that's going to really make Elijah struggle at the next level. But here we go, number 10, and this is where a lot of you are probably going to disagree with me. I have Tutu Atwell. I truly believe that Tutu could be the steal of this draft at receiver. He has versatility very similar to Rondell Moore, but he has got to be the fastest player in game speed I've ever seen when they put the pads on. He has fast. He comes off of his curls just incredibly fast with the snapbacks and the way he does the slant, how fast he does that. Tutu Atwell is an athlete and a half. But his major concerns are his former back problems and his size. But very much, I was thinking about putting Anthony Schwartz here. And I feel like you could put Anthony Schwartz at 10. And I really wanted to put this as a tie. But I went ahead and went with Tutu. I like Tutu a little bit better than Anthony Schwartz. Not by much, just a little bit. But overall, I think Tutu Atwell could be a very big shock to a lot of people that coming up in this draft. But if you guys have enjoyed that, remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you want more content like this. My next prospects I should be doing should be the NFL, either the NFL cornerbacks or quarterbacks. So I will make the decision on that and we will post that next. If you guys have any content that you would like to see, remember, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Leave it in the comments section. Tell me what you'd like, and we will get that done for you. This has been your boy Cass, and I'm going to sign off. Bye, guys.